All right, hey gang, you're watching The Broker. We are here in Park City, Utah. We're at an industry conference this week, meeting with some real influential people in the mortgage industry and the marketing industry. We even had some people from AMC's in to kind of give us an outlook for 2021, next 3 quarters. The Broker took a little bit of a sabbatical in Q1. Just a little bit of sabbatical for content. Don't call it rehab, but he's back. He's still doesn't have 2 microphones, but he is really working hard to handle that. Here we are. We were fortunate enough to stay in this beautiful Pacaso home. If you haven't checked out Pacaso, they're an amazing second home ownership, fractional ownership company. Pacaso.com, Google them. It's really an innovative model. It's KP, Kevin Peranio, Chief Lending Officer and Partner at PRMG. Always good to have you. It feels like an old shoe. Here we are back together. Let's talk about Q1. We have a lot of people raising the fist. Q1, record earnings, record originations. What's gonna look like from Q1 to the end of Q4? What are we going to be seeing as far as the industry goes?
All right. Well, thanks for having me back. Welcome back. Nice to get some content, get away. Got to relax the mind. It's good for the soul to get away from the office, even if it's just for a couple days at a time. I know we all miss our conferences, but they're starting back up again. So, we're at the beginning of Q2, and it is definitely a transitionary period on so many levels. It's spring. We're coming out of a long and short-term debt cycle. We're coming out of an economic cycle, a recession. We're coming out of a global pandemic. And in the mortgage industry specifically, we are fully transitioning into a purchase money driven market. And so, the refi boom is over. It's dead. We're not going to see $4 trillion in mortgages this year. We might see $3 trillion, which is still fantastic. But, if you go down 25% year over year, that's not a boom by any definition. So, I think we're just talking about, what the rest of the year looks like. And there's going to be a lot more winning to be had by people who are working hard. But it's going to be harder to win. Loans aren't literally falling from the sky. I mean, there's going to be plenty of borrowers still eligible for refinance. But, it takes a little more work now. And it's going to be a little bit more competitive. And you might not win every deal. And that is hard for people's mindset, when you're used to winning at basically 100% win rate. And now you don't win as much, or you don't win every time. Do you process it as a loss, or do you just learn from it and just try and get better? And so, I think it's going to be a great year. I think, the next, through the summer is going to be fantastic. The headlines are, there's less forbearances, there might be a foreclosure moratorium, so maybe less inventory coming on the market from that way. And there's a lot of headlines about housing supply shortage, but there's still tons of borrowers, finding homes. There's still tons of business out there. So it's just back to blocking and tackling.
I want to talk about that. The demand on housing, the low inventory. I mean, it's not breaking news or anything. How does that work out? I mean, are interest rates going to go up at the end of the year, and then that's going to kind of stabilize the demand? How do you see that working out? Because real estate is cyclical, but right now the demand just seems like there's no end to this dynamic. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think by design, the major builders, they aren't building as many homes like they did in 06, 07. They got crushed in the Great Recession. And so they've taken a different strategic approach. They're not building it and then having people come. They're building and taking a while under contract. And so, they're not necessarily breaking ground and having 100 homes in a community out there and then go sell them later. They're selling them before, in many cases, they really start the homes. So, but that's the big builders and a lot of regional builders. So I think with, disruption comes out of nowhere, and you're seeing a lot of smaller homes being built. You're seeing, we saw the printed homes that were being put out there in Rancho Mirage, California, and Austin, Texas. You're going to see a lot more probably prefab homes, and you're seeing people move out of the urban centers, getting away from everything, because you can work from anywhere now. So rising interest rates, as it relates to all that, it's kind of good news, bad news, right? The bad news is that people with the lower level of income, they're going to be marginalized. They're going to be the ones that just can't quite afford the house maybe that they want if rates rise. And that erosion of the middle class is a real thing. I mean, I've been worried about it my whole life. And so just look at Europe. It's haves and have-nots, and not everyone owns a home. Still, it's very affordable to own a home in America. You just might have to move, out of town maybe to find something in your price point. But the good news is that even with rising interest rates, purchase money is pretty price inelastic. So, if someone wants to buy a house and they don't want to pay 100% interest rate to a landlord and make that landlord rich, then they're going to pay the rate.
Great points as always. Hey, it's been a great week at the industry conference. Lots of people to thank. Thank you, Pacaso, for making it happen as far as the house goes. Thank you, KP. God, it's been so long.
It's been too long.
You're still a beautiful man. I love it. Hey, listen, thanks everyone for watching The Broker. I'm out. We'll see you next time.